How are you? Good, how are you?
You're an amazing player. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're changing the history in basketball.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming here and playing us. Most people you've played in front of.
Yeah.
You are changing the history of basketball. These words, spoken not by a WNBA executive or teammate, but by Brazil's head coach after a preseason game, speak volumes. They set the tone for a deeper look into the evolving landscape of the sport. Coming from someone whose team still flies commercial, this recognition underscores a reality that some within the WNBA seem hesitant to fully embrace. Brazilian players lined up to get Caitlin Clark's autograph, a moment symbolic of her rising global influence. The staggering $9.75 million in ticket revenue from just one game highlights her massive economic impact. It's telling that international competitors are acknowledging what she's doing, reshaping the WNBA's financial future, much like other transformative figures have done in their respective sports.
The real story was how this Brazilian national team that played the Fever, it's the way they received her.
That moment flipped the script on everything we thought we knew about respect in women's basketball. While some WNBA stars continue to give Caitlin Clark the cold shoulder, a coach from halfway around the world showed what true recognition looks like, how a generational talent should be treated.
It's quite a contrast that these women of color from Brazil and their coach had, as opposed to the American players.
The Brazilian coach didn't hesitate. He walked straight up to Caitlin Clark and said, "You are changing the history of basketball." This wasn't flattery. It was a direct acknowledgement of the seismic shift Clark has sparked in just a few months, something many WNBA veterans still refuse to admit. Her impact isn't just on the scoreboard. It's rewriting the game itself.
How are you? Good, how are you?
You're an amazing player. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're changing the history in basketball.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming here and playing us. Most people you've played in front of.
Yeah.
You're changing the history of basketball. You're an amazing player. What you're doing is phenomenal.
Made this moment truly remarkable. After the game, Brazil's professional players lined up for Caitlin Clark's autograph, international athletes setting ego aside to honor greatness. Meanwhile, back in the WNBA, you won't catch Angel Reese or others waiting in any line for Clark. At recent games, some veterans have turned their backs as she walks in. Others skip the pre-game handshake altogether, breaking one of basketball's most basic codes of respect.
Caitlin was signing their jerseys after the game. They were taking photos with her and the rest of the Indiana Fever, making TikToks on the floor, shooting from her signature logo spot. All in all, it seemed to be a great experience for that team.
The Brazilian team's response felt like a garden welcoming rain after a drought, an authentic appreciation rooted in the understanding that growth lifts everyone. In contrast, the WNBA's cold reception is like building walls to hold back a rising tide. Few enjoy. They fly commercial, stay in modest hotels, and operate on tight budgets. Yet they responded with appreciation, not resentment, genuinely admiring Caitlin Clark's talent instead of feeling threatened by it. Meanwhile, in the WNBA, players now fly private because of Clark. They're staying in better hotels, seeing rising salaries and benefiting from record-breaking ratings, all driven by her star power, and yet many still resent her presence.
While losing $20, $30, $40 million a year because of Caitlin Clark, they're flying private. They're being treated as stars and celebrities.
International players, who gain nothing directly from Caitlin Clark's popularity, show her genuine respect. Meanwhile, WNBA players who do benefit from better travel, accommodations, and growing salaries, thanks to her presence, often refuse to acknowledge her impact. That silence, it speaks volumes about the current culture within.
They're all riding Caitlin's coattails.
This response shows that recognizing a rising star isn't just good sportsmanship, it's smart business. When someone is filling arenas and generating millions in revenue, the logical move is to celebrate their...
And it takes players from Brazil to show Caitlin Clark the kind of appreciation and respect.
What's especially telling is how Brazil's team, made up largely of women of color, responded to Caitlin Clark with pure respect. They weren't threatened. They weren't resentful. They simply recognized talent for what it is. In doing so, they challenged the narrative that this is about race instead of merit. Their response showed exactly how Caitlin Clark should be treated, with appreciation for elevating the entire sport to heights it's never.
But we've seen this before. We saw it with Tiger Woods when he hit the PGA Tour. And it wasn't that the PGA Tour was losing money.
What if I told you this isn't the first time we've seen a situation like this? Not just something similar. I'm talking about almost the exact same scenario unfolding in another sport. The only difference? The outcome.
Everybody in the PGA Tour fell in line and was like, man, look what Tiger has done for us. Look at all this new money and attention that's coming to the game of golf.
When Tiger Woods made his breakthrough on the golf scene in the late 90s, he completely changed the PGA Tour in an instant. People who had never been interested in golf before were now eagerly watching every weekend to see what Tiger would do next. It's a similar situation.
And so they competed against Tiger, but they all respected Tiger.
The impact of Tiger Woods was both immediate and significant. During his prime years, PGA Tour prize money soared from around $67 million to over $400 million, an increase of 6 times that opened up a wealth of new opportunities. Every golfer on tour saw their earning potential grow, all thanks to Tiger Woods. But this is where the narrative takes a stark turn. Tiger's direct competitors, the very players he was dominating each weekend, responded in a way that contrasts sharply with what we're seeing in the WNBA today. These golfers publicly celebrated him, acknowledging the way he elevated golf's popularity. They openly expressed gratitude for the increased exposure, sponsors, and financial opportunities he brought
for all.
They weren't trying to tear Tiger down. They weren't running around saying, I'm the real reason, or these white men aren't being celebrated enough. They're only interested in Tiger.
Like Phil Mickelson, Ernie Els, and Vijay Singh, men who often finished second to Tiger, grasped a fundamental truth that seems to be overlooked by many WNBA players today. When one player raises the profile of the entire sport, everyone reaps the rewards of that success. More viewers lead to more sponsors. More sponsors bring in more money, and more money translates to improved conditions for everyone involved.
No, the men in the PGA Tour was like, this dude's making it rain money over here. I'm making more money. We're all making more money. We're all bigger stars than we ever have been.
This approach created something truly powerful in golf. Tiger Woods was both respected as a fierce competitor and appreciated as the sport's biggest attraction. His fellow players understood that his stardom benefited everyone. They could celebrate Tiger's greatness while still competing against him with intensity. Now consider the WNBA. The league is going through its own Tiger moment with Clark, who is bringing in unprecedented attention, viewership, and revenue. Yet rather than embracing this opportunity, many within the league seem set on opposing their biggest star. They downplay her impact, question her abilities, and foster an atmosphere of resentment instead of appreciation.
No one bent the knee and just kissed the guy's butt. There's a way to handle when a superstar shows up, takes your business, your industry to a new level.